secret video for you guys that stayed to the end. Get this aligned underneath there. Right here. Special day. My gas tank skid plates for the new Defender L663 are finally done. It took a year, closer to 2 years, but the product is exactly where I want it. It is curved, it is shaped that as you hit an obstacle, it'll help pick the vehicle up. It'll deflect all the energy forward or reverse. And what makes these extremely different than anything else on the market is they are able to be mounted by themselves. It doesn't rely on rock sliders, and it doesn't rely on those paper thin mounting points for these stock gas tank. If you look, some of the other ones bolt, it's really thin. When we're under the car, I'll show you. But 3/8 aluminum, designed to hold the weight of the vehicle. And to test that out at the end, we're gonna put one of the lift arms under and pick the car up, make sure they do the job that I say they'll do. All right, guys, let's cue the intro and I'll get this in the air. Let's take a look underneath. This one's got rock sliders already, which is super convenient because all the felt is gone. And it has the factory heat shield. It's going to be in the way here and here. The customer wants to be able to return this to stock, so we're just going to pull the heat shield. When I do my next car that's mine, I'm going to massage the heat shield, so I'll do another video for that. But we're gonna pull heat shield there, heat shield here, and right there. I'm gonna get that out of the way, and then we can take a peek at the skid plate install. Now that we've got the heat shields out of the way, we can, ooh, I better bolt that back up. We can now work on installing the gas tank skid plate. Here is, spin right around with me, one of those metal brackets I was telling you about. Like, that's not gonna support the weight of the vehicle. Here's another one, just tin, and like you can't, as easy as it would be to bolt to this, and you can see me flexing it with my thumb, and I am definitely not a strong guy. Okay, there's my little rant about the little tin tabs that we don't want to use. Now we're going to move on to installing the support brackets. All right, time to get the brackets on. This is the one I start with first. We're gonna put the bolt here. This is actually, you'll see it under the car, but right underneath the driver's seat. I start with this location, so that way I can slide the other one over. There's a skid plate that's kind of in the way. You'll see it, I mean. Come on, let's go get this on. I know I just said to tighten those brackets up. What I meant was snug them up. We want to get them in place, try to get the bolts in the center of the slots, but depending on your truck and the skid plate, we may need to adjust the brackets. We'll get to that next. So that first one, tight, but not nuclear tight. You want to be able to wiggle it around. Here is our next bracket. This is moving on the driver's side towards the rear. I'll show you where it goes. It uses an M10 and an M8. Here's the bracket. It does not go like that. You can see the offset in the feet. It goes like so. Another thing to notice is here is the exhaust mount. We're going to the bolt towards the front with the 10. Get that started. And then you'll notice if we swing this all around, it doesn't want, well, I suppose you could, but we want it to go about like so. And we're gonna get our M8 started for that. Okay, I'm going to snug these up, not tighten them, kind of in the center like so. then we can move to the last one in the back. It's a little bit tricky, but it's only one bolt. The final bracket for the driver's side, left-hand side, is this little U-shaped bracket. We're gonna go in the back. You gotta pull a bolt down, hide it in there, and then put the bolt back in. It's a little bit tight, but it's not too difficult. All right, guys, like I said, this one's a little bit difficult to get to. Here is the rear differential bolt for reference. There is a bracket for the structure support. Yours may look like this, it may not, depending on the year, depending on the car. And that's part of why it took so long for us to get these brackets made. They kept changing these. And right up there, where my finger is pointing, next to that wire on this particular electric diff unit, is the bolt we need to pull down. Whoops, sorry camera. So that we can slide this in place. I just dropped the brackets. It's difficult to get to the bolt. The camera couldn't see it, so depending, like I said, year to year, model to model, 110, 130, different. So yours may look like this, may not. Just drop those down. It's a couple of 15 mils. You'll have plenty of access to get the bolt out. You can put your bracket up, and that's what we're gonna do next. Now you can see exactly what we're trying to get to. Now it's time to test fit the plate. They're heavy. You're gonna wanna get some friends. I'm using my little jack to balance it. You just gotta struggle, or you gotta have a bunch of good friends. I don't have any friends, so I struggle. I'm gonna get this aligned underneath there, and we'll take a walk around with the camera. This is what we got going on. A little stand holding it up. Let's start at the first hole right here. Want to make sure that we can see, yep, the bolt aligns. That one's a little bit tricky. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get it on the camera, but yep, we can get that one. Moving down. There they are. Okay, you kind of get the idea. Here's the tail. Can you see it? There you go. Definitely we can get it started. Now we need to go to this front bracket right here and tighten that first bolt up. That's the only one we can't reach over and get. Maybe if you're, ooh, careful, that's a muffler. Maybe if you're better than me, you can get over there and get it, but I'm gonna move the skid plate out of the way. Now that I have that bracket tightened down, I am putting in the first bolts at 10 mil, and we're gonna start to center everything up. It's hand tight. I'll then move to the little guy right here, which is an 8 mil, and then I'll show you how to do the center two in a second. On to the center bracket. Remember, we left that a little bit loose. We're gonna take a 10 mil. You can see I've already started this one, and we wanna make sure that that one gets started. If you have to, actually this worked out good. If you have to adjust the plate a little bit or the bracket. All right, now that I know that they are good, I'm going to tighten down this center bracket. The one inside here is a little bit difficult to get to, but it's easier than taking the whole plate down. And for the last one, we're just gonna do the same thing. Put the bolt through and nylock nut and washer on the top. I know that that's gonna be good, so I'm gonna tighten this bracket down all the way. That'll be the last bracket on this side. Make sure that you've put your cross support back in if you haven't done that already. And then we're gonna cinch everything up, completing the driver's side. Hey everybody, Justin from the future here. If you have taken off that rear body cross support, I know I said, hey, put it back on, but do not put it back on until you've done the bracket on the right-hand side, passenger side. Once that bracket's in, you've tested the skid plate, everything's good, then we're gonna put the reinforcement brackets back in place. All right, back to me yammering about something. Now that we've got the front bolted in place, it's time for the ugly part. The factory skid plate, if you're using it, we're gonna wanna reattach it, but we have to mark where it sits so that we can drill holes in the aluminum. The reason we didn't slot it, we played around with a bunch of times, there's very little contact patch here, and I wanna keep as much as possible so that we can get the rigidity right here to take an impact. And the fact that this is bolted in, and this is bolted in, and this is bolted in, there was too many variables, so it's aluminum, it'll drill real fast. We're just gonna mark where we need it. Drill it out. Well, I'm gonna drop this section down. I'm even gonna take the whole thing off. We're gonna drill it, and then we can put in the 2 bolts that hold this skid plate up and complete this side. All right, with everything put back in place, our bolts here, and well, I don't think you can see it, but the center ones, I'm using my little friend here to bend the skid plate up so we can now tighten down the skid plate. All right, here we have it. It is time for the passenger side, right-hand side skid plate. It's a little bit smaller, easier to work with. Same kind of setup, 3 brackets. Let's head to the back and start there and move our way to the front. On the passenger side, we're looking for that same bolt, but be careful, there is a wiring harness. We're gonna pop it free so that we can get to the bolt. Making sure that we do not damage this harness. Once we get our bracket in, then we're gonna clip the harness back in place. Here's what the bracket looks like. Pay close attention. One side has more metal, it's a little bit bigger. That is actually on the bottom, and the thinner piece is up top. They are bent in a very weird way to go around all of the components. So once that bolt is out of the way, we're gonna kind of position it with this flat edge against the frame. Put the bolt in. Again, don't over tighten it. You want to be able to wiggle it so we can test fit the skid plate before we cinch everything down. Here's what it looks like in place. Let's sneak up there. There's that bolt. There's that wire that we unclipped. When everything's done, we're just going to put a zip tie on that so it stays safe. And that's how the bracket comes down. So it kind of points back towards the front. All right, guys, passenger side, middle bracket, looks like the letter Z. There is a taller section and a shorter section. The taller section goes to the top, like so is how it's going to fit. The rock sliders, if you're doing these tank plates, you probably have our Proud Rhino rock sliders. If you don't, you should. The bracket needs to fit over the rock slider like so. It's very tight quarters. I'm gonna see if I can get in there and do it. Well, I already know I can. It's difficult, you're gonna swear a lot. If you want it to be simple, drop the rock slider. And if you're going to do tank plate and rock sliders, then do the tank plate first. All right, I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna show you where it goes. We're gonna struggle together. Okay, the easiest way to find this bolt location, we're gonna start right here. Smaller gas tank, passenger side. There's the rock slider. And look right up there. We've got some plumbing. I've made a green mark. I'm gonna have to get Simon from Powerful UK to give me one of his orange markers, but that is the bolt location for the bracket. All right, there's the bracket. That's kind of where it goes. Sits like so when all tightened up. And like I said, I was able to kind of wiggle in there to get it going and get it started. I'm gonna tighten that down and we'll move to the next bracket. The last bracket is the front bracket. Super easy to put in, so hop underneath with me. I'll show you right where it goes. Here we are looking at the battery box, and we're gonna mark them with our green pen right here. So that's one location, and over here is the other. Bracket fits in like so. Same setup as before. Get under there with your friend or your little jack to hold the gas tank plate up. That's what I'm gonna do. Then we're gonna line all the parts, make sure they bolt up, tighten all the brackets, then tighten all the bolts. Then we're gonna test it, picking it up with the lift, see if these are strong enough. Pretty straightforward. I already got one started. Get our bolts in place. Nuts and washers on the top. Pretty good with this one. Really struggling. All right, there we go. Maybe, maybe not. Look at me go. Struggle, struggle. Moving along, we're gonna catch this one here. Okay, next up is to bolt everything together. Now that we know that all the brackets are where they need to be, tighten down all the brackets. Make sure you put your rear cross support in if you had to take it out, depending on which one you have. You want to tighten that up. You want to zip tie the wiring harness to the new bracket so that's not chafing on anything. Then we want to bolt all the skid plates up. Job done. I'm going to lower the car. We're going to put the lift arms underneath and we're going to pick it up and we're going to see what happens. We're gonna start off on the driver's side. I got it in the middle of the skid plate. I'm gonna bring the camera underneath so you guys can watch it. I'm just gonna press the button and listen for a loud boom. Goal is to pick it up, take the weight off of the rear of the vehicle, simulating riding over some rocks. Let's do it. All right, it took it like a champ. Tire is off the ground. All of this weight is now resting on the center of the gas tank and it is taking all of the weight. It's actually starting to pick up on the passenger side, so I'm super happy. Very, very happy with this side. Let's put the lift on the passenger side, do the same experiment. That's a smaller plate, so I think we're gonna even have better success. All right, guys, I am beyond happy with these skid plates. They took a lot longer than I expected, but they did everything I wanted them to do. I wanted them to bolt to their own brackets to support the weight of the vehicle. Check. I wanted to protect the battery box on the passenger side. Check. I wanted them to I wanted them to follow the form of the original gas tank to keep them as high and tight as we could. Check. And I wanted them to be badass and 3/8. Check. Oh, this? Oh yeah, it's picked up on the gas tank skid plates. Come on, let's take a quick look. All right, I'm putting this one down as job done. Little secret video for you guys that stayed to the end. Curiosity got the best of me, so I pulled off our tank plates and you can see there is no damage to the factory cradles. All right, now follow for more rover content.